Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. I'm feeling a little bit stressed this morning, to be honest. It's been a bit of a busy weekend and a slow start to the week, but we've just had scaffolding going up around the building because some building works are commencing that are going to be going on probably until the end of the year, and that's weather dependent, so they could go on for longer. And it's blocked out, you might not be able to tell, I've just turned the lights on, but it's blocked out so much natural light to the point that I'm going to probably need to do a very big new grow light setup, which, although like I know it'll be probably fun once I get going with it and all that sort of stuff, it's just, I don't know, you know, when things just feel a little bit overwhelming. And also the building works just started. Yoli's a bit freaked out, bless her, so she's just here on the sofa not being very happy. And I think we are just going to have to do a little bit of adjusting. There's just some things for me and Yoli and the plants to get used to. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But I've got some things going on in my plant collection at the moment, and I kind of feel like I haven't done an updates video in a while, so I thought I would just bring some things over. I haven't limited myself to just 10. In fact, I have no idea how many things I've brought over, but I thought I could just take you through them, show you some really exciting things, show you some interesting things, some things that are going a bit wrong, and kind of talk you through my plans for these plants. I also thought, I did actually order a couple of cuttings, and I thought that they might be here already, and I was going to do a little unboxing with you. If they turn up, we can do that as well, but otherwise it's just going to be an updates video. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, just bear with me today because I don't always work that well with distraction, and I'm just getting used to people kind of like walking past the window and watching me film as well, which is weird. They probably think I'm absolutely crazy. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be the nicest possible thing to sit down and do this morning. Just chat through some planty things and relax a bit. So yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So as always, these are in no particular order. And seeing as I've started this video on a bit of a negative note, let's not start with a negative plant. Let's start with one that I am really excited about at the moment. And I've shown you this plant in a couple of videos, but it is my Begonia Sinbad. And just look at how beautiful that is. Honestly, I've never in my life been so excited by a begonia. I've never particularly been a begonia person, to be honest, but I have found myself acquiring a few that are really exciting me over the past few months, really. Like, I've had the odd begonia here or there in my collection before, but you know how some people just seem to be really obsessed with them? I've never really caught the bug in the same way as I have for like Hoyas or philodendrons or anything like that. So this is the first one that I feel like has really, I don't know, just really captured my attention. And I got this as, so I lie a section of this, which actually is in my cabinet at the moment. I got a section of this as a, I think 3-leaf cutting just before I went away on holiday last month. And it was rooting just here by my TV, and I kept looking at it. Like, whenever we were sat watching TV in the evenings, I couldn't stop looking at the begonia cutting, and I was like, it's not the sort of thing I usually go for, but I think I need more of this plant. Like, I really want a big full plant. So I went back onto Etsy to get another cutting, and the owner had actually closed their shop at that point. So I was like, oh no, I looked everywhere else, literally scoured the internet. And I know, like, some of you guys were saying in the US and Canada you can get this plant quite easily. Here in the UK, honestly can't find anywhere else that is doing the Begonia Sinbad. So I put a little notification on Etsy, and as soon as that seller opened their shop again, which was actually when I was on holiday, I ordered, I think, 3 more cuttings. And so yeah, I've potted them up, and that is, well, this is them now, and they are growing beautifully for me. They're doing absolutely amazingly. And I did keep the original section separate just in the event that I lost one. So then I've got a backup. But yeah, the thing I love about this begonia is like, it's almost got a slight iridescence to it without being like waxy and shiny, because it's actually quite soft. I'm not sure how well you can pick it up on camera, but it's kind of like bristly. But yeah, it's kind of like a gorgeous sage green colour, but I don't know if you can tell, like if you look at this leaf here, there's also almost a pinky tinge to it, which, as I say, is quite unusual for me. I'm not typically one for colourful plants, let alone pink plants. But also if you look at the back of it, you can see there's some tones of pink in there as well. And I just think it is lovely. And I know I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had ordered a couple of other things and a couple of other plant cuttings. I actually ordered again from this same seller. And I have got a couple more different begonia cuttings that I'm hoping will arrive today. So that's quite exciting. I'm really enjoying, I don't want to say building up my begonia collection, because I'm not intentionally trying to build a begonia collection, but it's just quite nice when you start seeing and appreciating a plant that previously, I don't know, wasn't doing it for you. So yeah, this feels like the start of a new journey, and it is what I'm very excited for, because I just think this plant is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So my goal right now is to just try and grow it as big and beautiful as possible. It does seem to be one that's fairly fast to grow, like so far, considering I only got these cuttings 3.5 weeks ago. Not only have they rooted amazingly in that time, the roots are quite spindly, I'm not sure how well the camera's picking them up, but not only is it rooted amazingly, they have also been giving me beautiful growth. Like every single section has got new little leaves appearing, which is so exciting. So yeah, this one is currently living just there below the TV. I haven't currently got any other grow lights on it or anything like that, but as I say, I am gonna have to figure something out, because it is very dark in here at the moment without grow lights. I obviously use some grow lights, but I don't use as many as I'm gonna need to. Oh, such a pain, honestly, it is such a pain. I knew these works had to happen, but firstly, I didn't know there was gonna be a wrap on the scaffold, which basically is like a sheet that goes around it that just, it's kind of like a filter for natural light. It's like as if I was hanging a sheer curtain across my window, and it's very frustrating. So yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do something in terms of grow lights. So I will definitely be making some content on that. And you know what? I think it will probably be quite useful, because I haven't had to work with a lower light space in quite a while. So I'll get a light meter sorted and we can do some experimentation together and figure it out. But yeah, just the initial, like, it happening now is very frustrating. But let's go back to being negative for a second, shall we? So there's a positive and a negative here. The plant I'm about to show you does not look very happy, and it's the one that I got at Wisley very recently, and I was like, what is this alocasia? I don't know what it is. And I had so many theories from you guys, and I couldn't find any that I thought were exact until one of you said have a look on the Grow Tropicals website, because they've got one that is very similar at the moment, and it is the Alocasia bisma silver, I think. And although this one doesn't currently look particularly silver, that is what Grow Tropicals are selling it as, and typically they are very good at knowing specific types of plants, so that's my guess. However, this plant was looking absolutely fine until about 2 days ago, and I've got it just in the pot, the container, everything that it came in. I haven't potted it in anything different yet. Like, I would ideally like to get this one into semi-hydro, but typically I say if a plant doesn't need a repot when you first get it, just allow it to adjust for a week or two first before kind of messing with it. So all I have done is I've watered it through. It was quite dry. I gave it a water through, and I can feel that the substrate it's in has really held on to this water. Like, this pot is so heavy. Like, that is such a dense mix, which obviously is not ideal for this type of plant. And it's flopped right over, and I need to get in there probably, I mean, definitely today. I was gonna say pretty drastically. I'm just going to lift it out and see if we can see anything. Okay, so That soil, oh, is drippy and saturated and soggy. And there are some healthy roots that I can see. However, there are some rotting roots there as well. And obviously what I want to make sure of, oh, in fact, it's a bit that's just snapped off. Oh yeah, so I think I've lost this little section. What I want to make sure of is that it hasn't spread to the rhizome, because, oh my goodness, it can happen so easily with alocasias, like ridiculously easily. I swear to God, it can literally happen overnight. And the rhizome is this section here right at the bottom, just there. And if that starts to rot, then honestly, there's really nothing you can do. So as soon as I finish filming this video, I might, if I've got the energy for it, I might make a short on it. But yeah, I just want to have a look in there and see what's going on, and probably make the transfer to semi-hydro today, assuming everything's all right, or get it into sphagnum moss and get a new root system going. I don't know. But yeah, I came through this morning and I saw that that one was all curled, and I was like, no, it was looking so lovely. So yeah, that is high up on my list of things to do. And in fact, I'm going to put it right there, and I'm literally going to do it as soon as I finish filming this video. But yeah, it's gorgeous. It's one that I'm really, really, really excited about. I just hope that it is savable. So that's, I think that's the only negative one though. Is that the only negative one? Oh, no. There's one more that is partially negative. So let's mix it up. Let's come back to that one. Just a very quick update. There's not a huge amount to say here, but my Rhaphidophora foraminifera has been growing on this moss pole for 4 months now, and it's putting out a really lovely root system in the back just there. And it's just unfurled a new leaf, and I wasn't going to include this one, but I was just sitting down and I was like, is that a fenestration? And look, it's got its first tiny fenestration, which is so exciting, because like, I love this plant, how it is just like, I don't know, it's just very green and very, I was going to say plain and planty. Like, it's not particularly, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's just a very like normal looking plant at the moment. But when this starts to fenestrate, I've shown you pictures before, and if I can find one, I'll put one on the screen just there. But the fenestrations essentially form really close to the middle of the leaf, and they just look amazing. And I've been so excited for it to start doing that. And I feel like from here, now that it's got going, assuming I can keep its lighting high, this should continue to fenestrate and hopefully size up and grow beautifully for me. And as I say, it's just been something I've been really excited about. Oh, I've just thought of another exciting update that I didn't bring over. In fact, I'll put a clip in, but my Hoya latifolia sarawak, the one, my beautiful one that was 3 big leaves and I was really, really struggling with, that one, I've just been on a bit of a journey with that plant and has not been doing amazingly for me for quite a while. And I've got several sections of it that are a little bit hit or miss, to be honest. Some are doing really well, others are not doing so well. But one in my cabinet, in a very short space of time, I feel like it's almost started happening overnight, has just started putting out some beautiful growth. And as I say, I'll put some clips in so that you can see it, but it looks so gorgeous. And I know that's one that would be happier on a trellis, so I do need to do that at some point. But I love the look of it just climbing the back of my cabinet. Honestly, I think it is so beautiful. And that has been a long time coming, because I got that plant 2 years ago now. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago, and it has just done pretty much nothing for me in that time. So it really feels like an achievement now that it's giving me something. But I thought I'd include this one, because this is a plant that I feel like my feelings towards might be changing a little bit. And I made a video a few months ago talking about plants that I was getting rid of, plants that just weren't bringing me that much joy anymore, and why. And one of them was the Anthurium doriaci, and I in fact lopped the entire plant back, and I just wasn't happy with the way it was growing for me. And I was like, I'm gonna let it regrow, and then I will probably take it with me to the next plant swap. And it's regrowing, and I'm really enjoying the way that it's regrowing. And the only things The only things really that I've changed is it's getting much more intense light. Like this one is pushed right in a south-facing window. It's getting lots of direct sun, which it wasn't getting before. It's arguably in slightly lower humidity as well, which is weird because the thing that I really didn't like about it last time was all the cracking and splitting in the leaves. And it actually hasn't done that as much this time. But then apart from that, I'm just growing it in a much more chunky mix. Like I've got lots of tree fern fibre and lots of bark in there. And although I don't think it's ever going to be my favourite anthurium, if it carries on like this, I might consider hanging on to it. And so I'm kind of glad that I didn't get rid of it there and then. The other thing I'm thinking at the moment is if you look at the back here, you can see it is getting ready to start giving me an inflorescence, and I'd really like to collect, either pollinate this one actually, or collect pollen from this one and pollinate one of my other anthuriums, because I'm really trying to experiment a little bit with cross-pollination and hybridization within anthuriums at the moment, but none of them have taken so far. I've tried quite a few different hybrids and none of them seem to be wanting to accept the pollen I'm giving them. So yeah, this might just be an experimental plant. It might be one that stays in my collection for a while, but I am gonna hang on to it for the time being. So I know I'm going back on my word there, but it's exciting me and I don't want to part with it. Oh, and then another one that I know I literally spoke about in the last video or the video before that I put up on my channel, but the Coleus amboinicus, I believe it is, which is commonly known as Cuban oregano, is one that is just, again, fast becoming a favourite in my collection. But this is also one, like I know I said Cuban oregano and that it's a mix of like oregano, mint, basil, like just so many things, but it's really succulent and juicy. And honestly, it is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Like as I'm going around doing my plants, I keep like pinching off a leaf and just eating it. But I made guacamole last night and I actually used this to season it. I chopped off, you can see where I chopped just there. I chopped a section and I just like diced it and I put it into the guacamole and it was so yummy. And this is the first plant that I've grown that isn't just like a pot of basil that you buy from your local Tesco's or whatever. This is the first plant that I've grown that I'm actually enjoying both growing and like visually looking at and actually eating as well, which is kind of fun because I do at some point further down the line when I've got enough space to have a garden and all that sort of stuff, I do really want to get into like growing vegetables and growing herbs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is one that I'm really enjoying. I don't want to lop the whole thing up, so I'm kind of thinking, oh my god, it smells so good. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll propagate a section of it and I'll keep that over in the kitchen, and that can be like the purely edible section, and then this can just be enjoyed as a houseplant because it is so pretty. But yeah, I'm just loving it. I'm just absolutely loving it. And again, I know I said it before, but another really low maintenance way of growing. I've just got this one with leca at the bottom, soil on top. And although it's, I believe like a semi-succulent, I haven't had any issues doing it this way. And it does seem really happy and is giving me loads of growth. So yeah, that's exciting. Oh, and on the note of, I think, Coleus, I'm 99% sure. I went to my mum's house over the weekend, actually because Emma was running a triathlon and I went to see her do that. But my mum had this plant growing outside on her balcony and it looked absolutely amazing. And I said to her, could I have a cutting? I'm sure she said it was a Coleus. Not usually the sort of thing that I would go for, but this is what it looks like. Like, look at the weird shapes of those leaves. It's so bizarre, isn't it? And it went really floppy. It was in the car for a few hours and it was really floppy and did not look well at all when I got it home. And me and Ross were having a crafty day on Sunday and I made this, absolutely taking inspiration from all of the weird and wonderful things that Ross is making at the moment. But yeah, I am just propagating it in that at the moment. And I think it looks quite funky and quite cool. And it's colourful. I'm definitely getting better. But yeah, I think it looks kind of awesome. So yeah, I will let you know how that does because I've never grown that type of plant before. But also on the note of weird and wonderful creations, if you guys, you might already follow Ross's little shop of Rostas on Instagram, but he has made so many new things. This one here is a lighter, and I just think it's really cool. He's got so many awesome things that he's making, and honestly, I feel like, because the weeks have been busy and a little bit intense recently, our weekends, we're just desperately trying to, on the whole, allow at least like one free day, or just like a little bit of time to just do like crafty things and like, I don't know, enjoy doing some off-camera plant care and stuff like that. And I'm so grateful for those moments. Those are honestly the things that keep me sane. Oh, there's a builder. I'm just gonna carry on as if he's not there because this is embarrassing. But I can't for the life of me remember what this beautiful cactus is called, but I'll put the name on the screen. It's been flowering for like the last week, and these blooms actually aren't at their peak at the moment. They're still very pretty, but at one point they were huge and gorgeous. And this is the second time it's bloomed for me actually in the time that I've had it. And I just think it is beautiful. It is a little bit shriveled at the moment, and I've noticed that it does do that when it blooms. I'm not sure if that's just because energy that's usually put into growth goes into creating flowers. I honestly don't know. And by that standard, maybe I should be chopping the flowers back if I don't plan on pollinating. And I haven't pollinated yet. So maybe I should do that. Or maybe I should repot it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This is a relatively new one. I've only had this one for about, I think about 4 or 5 months, and I love it so much. But I haven't kind of figured it out yet. I'm still very much learning with it. But yeah, it's so gorgeous. Some of you were also sending me photos of yours that were flowering, and oh my God, one in particular, one person sent me some flowers and the blooms were like that. They were huge. And I really hope mine does that at some point, because so far they've been very pretty but quite small. But yeah, I do like, although I'm not massively like, I don't need my plants to flower like to love them. Like I'm very much more foliage as opposed to flower. I do find that I don't know, I just feel very proud when my plants flower, because obviously it's, I don't know, it's something you don't see every day. And I've been through periods of like years where plants haven't flowered at all. So when they start doing that, I'm like, oh, you're obviously happy. But then one that is, I mean, doing okay, but I'm just a bit baffled by my Euphorbia lactea white ghost that I got at the beginning of the year. You might remember this actually happened in a video. I had it, oh, was that beeping? Oh, don't know. I had it just below my sofa cushion, and I accidentally sat on the sofa cushion and lopped the top off it. It is growing back and it is kind of branching. However, a lot of the branching is just very green, and although there is some variegation on there, it's not as white as typically lactea white ghosts that I've seen kind of are. So I'm not quite sure what to do about that, to be honest. I think I'll probably let it grow out and see how it develops, and then maybe, I don't know, take some cuttings from the branches and, I don't know, I guess I could chop it back again and see if I could conserve some variegation, but I don't know. So if anyone has any advice for this, what would you do if it was your plant? Yeah, let me know in the comments, because I love the lactea white ghost, and I do actually, to be honest, quite like that mine has got split variegation, that it isn't just all white. I don't mind that, but yeah, we will see. We will see, because it looks like it's kind of planning on branching in quite a weird way at the moment. So I'm excited to see how it forms. Oh my goodness, and how could I forget about this one? So my Anthurium pallidiflorum is, so she's looking a little bit battered, and that is completely my own fault. I am so bad, and I know I always say don't do this, but I am so bad at like helping when a leaf starts to unfurl. And this one has had a few, and again, I think this is probably because the humidity hasn't been as high as it should be, but I've had a few leaves that have been a little bit stuck, and so I've tried to get in there and help, and I've ended up ripping them. So quite a few of its bigger leaves do have rips in. However, are you ready to see the size of the leaf it has just given me? Look at that. Isn't that just insane? I feel like the length of it and like the scale of it, like the width of it is not as apparent on camera as it is in real life. Like it's just crazy huge. And this one that I got at the beginning of the year, and I think it only had 2 or 3 leaves at the time, and although its leaves weren't tiny, they were probably about that size. So obviously it has sized up. I'm so sorry about the beeping. There's nothing I could do about it. It has sized up a significant amount in a relatively short amount of time. Oh my God, shut up. In a relatively short amount of time. Good girl, Yelly. So yeah, it's one that I am still, I know I don't talk about it all the time, but I still just adore. I'm so excited by it. I love the velvetiness of its leaves, especially now it's really kind of sizing up. You can see that so much better. It's got that gorgeous white veination that runs down the middle, but it is just so, oh, it's just the most beautiful plant. And I feel so happy that it's growing well for me. So yeah, again, like that's another one that I'm growing in very high light. It is getting full sun, which I know might be a little bit controversial, but it's doing good things for me. I do just need to get better at remembering to put my humidifier on because I've got really bad at that recently. I did have it on a timer system before, but just sometimes when the tank of water runs out, I can be really bad at remembering to fill it. And yes, I just haven't been very good at that lately. So yeah, need to do that. Oh, and I forgot about this one as well. So my Ficus shavariana is a plant, another plant actually a while ago that I said I was tempted to get rid of because I have lopped this plant back a few times and I've never been completely happy with the way that it's growing. I find it is, for some reason, an absolute magnet for spider mites. And when it gets spider mites, I think because of like the pattern on the leaves, it is a little bit kind of mottled looking already. You can overlook it so easily, and I, like most of the time, I'll find it's got spider mites and I'm like, oh, it's so bad to the point that I just need to chop it up. And I was kind of on my last legs with this plant and I decided to chop it up and I made loads and loads of cuts and I put it into a plastic bag, and it's been regrowing in that plastic bag for 2 months really, and I haven't taken it out. I haven't really done anything to it, and I love the way it is growing back. Like, it's so bushy. Look at that. It's got so many growth points now that I feel like once it starts to actually size up, it's gonna be like, it's gonna grow more like a little tree as opposed to just like a single stem as it was before. And that makes me really happy. So it's kind of really motivated me to stick with this plant now and be super, super vigilant about monitoring it. If I need to put it back in a bag for a bit, or if I need to put it in a box or something like that, I happily will. I would just like to get it going and yeah, hopefully get a lovely little healthy tree growing, because I just love it. I think it's such a pretty plant, and I've seen big ones in other people's collections and I'm just in awe of them. I think they are so gorgeous, but mine's just never, I don't know, I just haven't been as on top of caring for it and pest checking it as I should have been. So yeah, I'll keep you updated with it. And also I have got another one. My camera battery is just about to die, so bear with me one moment. Hello again. So yes, I've got a couple more that I brought over, and this one is not negative per se, but it's not positive. And it's my Drimonia chiribagana. And this is the one that I got at the beginning of the year, and I was absolutely obsessed with this plant. I like swear to God I was mentioning it in like every single video, and I was like, it's so easy, it gives me no grief. And it really didn't. It was so easy when I first got it, and it started kind of toppling over. It was very top heavy. I had it in my cabinet and I was like, I'm going to chop and propagate it. And since chopping and propagating it, everything has just kind of spiraled a little bit. And it is rooted, and it is, as you can see, giving me some lovely growth. But bearing in mind, in the space of like 2 months, this plant grew from smaller than this to like there. It's not stopped growing, but it's significantly slowed down. It's had pests, it had thrips very badly. Again, I had to lop it back and I had to treat it. And the other thing now that I'm struggling with it, although touch wood, I think it is completely thrip free and has been for a while, is mealybugs. And it's weird because it's not kind of like, it's not the sort of plant that you'd look at and think, oh yeah, that's super prone to mealybugs. And I can't even, like, I looked over it before I brought it over to show you in this video and I was like, okay, I can't see any. And then I just saw one in between the leaves just there. So yeah, it's not like it's infested. It just seems to be one that always has like a mealybug or two on it for some reason. And so yeah, I'm keeping it isolated. I haven't put it back in my cabinet and I'd really like to because I know that is like prime conditions for it. Again, I could do what I did with the Ficus shaveriana. I could put it into a bag maybe. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I would so love to get it back to how it was before. I'm also thinking maybe it's not a fan of the soil mix I've put it in, because before, when it was growing amazingly, it was, I think I'm right in saying, growing in sphagnum moss. And since I've changed that out, there's just been a whole host of issues that seem to have all come at once. And weirdly, the section that I've chopped down here, you can see there's lots of new growth coming in, but it doesn't look anything like the new growth that's coming in here, which is really bizarre. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. But yeah, it's one that's just, I don't know, like I still really love it, but I'm not feeling I'm not loving it as much as I was at the beginning of the year, just because it, like every time I look at it, there's something going wrong. And it has been going on for quite a long time like this now. But I will keep you updated with it and I'll let you know how I get on. I'm sure I'll be able to get it back to a good stage again, where it is looking happy and healthy and actually giving me that lovely growth that I know it is capable of. Because at one point before, its leaves got to like that big and they were dark and dramatic and velvety and they were just beautiful. So again, if any of you have this plant and have any tips, please let me know. Please let me know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But then the last one, and this is exciting, and I hope it looks as cool on camera as it looks in real life. But from the last, oh, I'm about to sneeze, hang on, sorry. From the last London plant swap that I went to, I got a Euphorbia trigona African milk tree from one of you guys as a cutting, and it took ages to actually start doing anything, but now it's got going. Look at it, it's branching amazingly at the top here, and it's got so much, I want to call these leaves, I don't actually know what you call them, but it's got so many of those beautiful leaf-like succulent things, and it just looks so pretty. And because the base of it, because this bit is quite thin, I'm not quite sure how it will grow, because obviously it's got 3 sections that have branched that are eventually probably going to become quite heavy. I don't know if I should do a chop, a prop, a repot, and kind of try and, I don't know, strengthen it a little bit. Because I know my Euphorbia acrorensis that I've got through in the bedroom is now, I mean, it's a little bit thicker than that at the bottom, but it is now taller than me and branches like crazy. And I often get scared that that plant is just going to give way and snap. So again, what should I do? What should I do about that? If you know, if you have any thoughts, let me know. But for the time being, I'm just really enjoying watching it and watching those lovely little leaves develop as they come in. It's just looking so pretty and healthy. And yeah, I'm really enjoying growing it. So yeah, those are some of the things that are going on at the moment. Those are the things that caught my eye and immediately kind of made me want to bring over and talk about with you guys this morning. And as I said at the beginning of the video, like I do feel like I needed this morning because I feel so much better. It's often the case. I will feel, I don't know, just a bit like stuck and annoyed and like, oh, and then I'll do something planty and I'm like, ah, it just lifts, I don't know, just lifts my spirits, and I really needed this today. So thank you. But right, I'm gonna go deal with the Alocasia bisma silver, assuming that's what it is. I'm gonna go deal with that now. Wish me luck. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, a wonderful week. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.